8 o'clock.
Good morning.
Nice.
Thank you for being here early in the morning.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, we're going to get started, and we are recording this. Hey, everyone, welcome and thank you for joining us today. We're thrilled to have you here, whether you're joining us live or watching the replay. My name is Colleen Santoni, and I will introduce our speakers today and run the Q&A at the end. This series is all about exploring real-world solutions to the challenges educators and leaders are facing today, from teacher burnout to inclusive practices, to supporting sustainable, student-centered schools. We keep things short and powerful, 30 minutes of meaningful insights, and we'll leave space at the end for your questions. So feel free to drop those into the Q&A as we go. Today's conversation is From Compliance to Connection, a better way to think about attendance and parent engagement. And we're excited to be joined by three thoughtful voices in education. First, let me introduce Dr. Jessica Werner, founder and CEO, North Shore Learning. Jess is a former educator, a researcher, and a mom who started North Shore to help school leaders and teachers turn the latest neuroscience into practical, sustainable change. North Shore Learning works with schools worldwide, offering professional learning and support for teachers who work tirelessly to meet the diverse needs of their students. Joining Jess today is Sharoya Ham and Katie Fowle, authors of Help! My Kid Doesn't Want to Go to School, a book every educator and parent should read. Sharoya Ham is a passionate behavior change specialist, author, veteran teacher, and founder of Embrace Behavior Change. She has helped hundreds of overwhelmed parents learn how to parent calmly, consistently, and confidently. She works with families whose children face educational, behavioral, and relational challenges. Katie Fowle is an educator, author, and co-founder of Global Village Tutors. She's empowered hundreds of students to succeed academically and feel confident in school through academic and social emotional skill building. Despite her professional success, Katie struggled as a mom when her daughter refused to get out of bed to go to school. Katie wrote her story to empower parents and inform educators. We're so glad to have you here, Sharoya and Katie. Thank you. We're happy to be here. Happy to be here.
All right, let's get started. The first question is for Sharoya and Katie. Can you give us a brief synopsis of the book, including how it came to be and how you both met?
Sure. I'd love to get started. Sharoya and I started, I saw a post of hers on Facebook about her son who has ADHD and how she was supporting him in the international school life world. And I reached out to her and we were having, she and I both remember this phone conversation. It just started this professional conversation and a deep friendship. And so when my daughter started to refuse to get out of bed and go to school, I really leaned on Sharoya for her parent coaching and her guidance. And so once we got through, once my daughter was going to school and our family was empowered, Sharoya and I were talking one day and we're like, well, we got to do something with this. We got to tell this story.
and give parents the tools and resources that they need without feeling judged. And so we decided to write a book. And Sharoya, do you want to add on to that journey?
Well, I think it's all about Katie's generosity in telling her story, because this is a story where so many parents who've gone through it know it's a lot of shame, it's a lot of sense of failure. But she was honest, and more so, her daughter, who is the hero of the book, was so kind and gracious to say, "I want my story to help others." And so, once we got the green light from her, and Katie was just willing to be vulnerable, I was delighted to come in there and go, this is the roadmap. This is how you get your child out the door and back into school."
Beautiful. What I love hearing how you connected and that it led to something that was life-giving that others could benefit from.
Mhm.
So, thank you for your willingness to share your story. Shreya, when we say connection, oh, I'm sorry. Yes, to you. In your work in schools, what are you hearing about attendance and school avoidance?
Yeah, I think this is a really timely topic because I'm hearing about it more and more often than I ever have. And I've been working in schools for 25 years. But I feel like the last 5 years, it's post COVID, it's more and more students are having a harder time being back at school. Parents, including myself, are having those mornings where you're hearing, no, I don't want to, or I can't. And it's really disheartening. And and I'm hearing about it from the educators as well. I haven't seen so and so in a week because he's refusing to come to school. So it's really impacting families and then the community, the teachers too. I think feel a lot for the students and for the families. So yeah, I'm hearing about it on the school end as well.
And this is, I know you work in schools internationally and nationally. Are you hearing it in all schools?
Yes. I'm international today. I'm in Colombia, and I'm hearing stories from early years teachers. I'm talking kindergarten, pre-K 4, that they're starting to see school refusal really early, and that's concerning, and it's also not really surprising given kind of what school is like for a lot of kids right now.
The both Katie and Troy, you're nodding your heads yes. Do you have anything to add to that?
I think definitely in the expat world and transition
Mhm.
and international schools, it is really even more of an issue. And so, just in our society too, just the changes that happened over the past 5 years is really taken us all, time to get reacclimated and just acclimated, because some things we're not going back to.
Mhm.
And so we have to understand that underlying situation, in general. But even though that's a macro reason, understanding why your child is not going to school is very micro.
Mhm.
You can't just put it all in one big pot.
Katie, you
And
want
I
to add anything?
Um, I would just say that the key for me in supporting my daughter and our family when we were experiencing school refusal was really listening and connecting. And it's the complete opposite of what you want to do. You want to scream at your kid and you want to drag them out of bed. And so, learning as a parent new skills to support myself so I can better support my child is a real change that, our family needed to make. So, but I think that being expats, moving really frequently, my daughter had an undiagnosed learning difference. I think these are all contributors, as Sharia was saying, that these micro reasons why children may not want to go to school. And so it's really important to listen and connect with your child so you can better understand what those reasons are, even though you want to scream and yell and do all
Just
that.
demand, drag them out of bed.
Demand. Yeah.
Yeah. That's actually my next question was really about that connection before compliance that you're talking about. And so you shared a little bit
about what that looks like in practice at the school or home setting, and you talked more about home. Um, can you add on to that at all for us, Sharia, especially on the hardest days? What does that look like in the school or home setting?
Well, I think I know we have a counselor on here, and that is one of the biggest groups that we are trying to connect with because that connection there, we need that connection between parent and counselor to be stronger. And we're showing and helping counselors understand the parent's point of view and that it can be shameful, and they feel like failures. And so they are doing opposite. They're running away from the counselor instead of to. And then you also have those parents who want to come to the counselor all the time, like, help me do everything. And so what we are saying is that parents need resources. What are those barriers? Why aren't they getting the supporting their kids and helping them come to school? Some say they are trying and the kid is not doing it. And then we know as educators, we're like, if this parent would just do this, if they would just do this. And so Katie and I work with counselors to figure out what is the if they would just do this. So is it that they just should have a psychoeducational evaluation done because the kid is struggling in school? Then we help the counselor understand, well, why aren't they doing that? And many of the reason they don't want their child to be labeled, right? They don't understand the benefits. And so we work with counselors to help them understand, oh, this is the reason. But we have a book. And on page 30 in that book, it explains well. And so we have we even write scripts for counselors to say, oh, we understand that this is quite confusing and you may not even think it's necessary. And we understand that. Mhm. But here's a video, here's a book on a particular page at this number, helping the parent know, we know you don't have much time, so we've got it all here for you. And also, if there's a parent who's already been through it, that the counselor can say, I can connect you with this parent. They've already been through it and they've seen a doctor, they've had this support. Immediately the parent goes, oh, wow, I have someone to talk to. And so that strengthens the relationship between home and school, and also the other parents in the community. Because when you go through a problem, to know that you can be helpful to another person. So it's just a win win when we can get that connection going in the beginning. So parents know, like, okay, after they get the news that my child is facing repeating the grade, what do I do? What if next year the same thing happens? What do I do? So that's where we like to start with building that connection there. And so counselors feel confident. I have a parent come to me and I can go, hey, this is a book that tells a story of a woman who's an educator and had the same problem.
Mhm.
But she shares how she went through it, and there's guidance to get you through yours. I think that is the connection that we want to see happen in the schools.
So you both talked about connection before compliance, but I love that was from two different perspectives. Katie, you were talking about we have to connect with our child before we're going to get them to do what we're asking or to support them to make the move back to school. Um, and Sharoya, you're talking about connecting at the school level, like parents connecting and feeling that support, similar to what we want our students to feel, right? Like you're supported, we hear you, and the compliance to help have them get like follow through with support or getting the resources they need to be successful in supporting their child as well. So I love that. I love that it was on multi levels. That that
I,
concept.
I have a follow-up question. What about for the parents who have already done all the things? They've done the psycho evaluation, they've spoken with a counselor, or a school might not even have a counselor. My son just left a school with 1,100 kids, no counselor.
Mhm.
What do you tell those parents who have checked all the boxes and it's still in this hard spot?
I think that as a parent, it is, um, this is a long game. This doesn't get solved overnight. And this, you need support. So the counselor, if you don't have a school counselor, getting support through a parent coach or like Sharoya that knows school refusal or a therapist that can help you because it's all about emotional regulation and distress tolerance because you're so upset and it disrupts your life, it disrupts your marriage. Oftentimes there's a lot of conflict going on in the home because of this. And the child is experiencing all that additional stress then on top of whatever they're experiencing at school that's making them not want to go to school. And oftentimes, if you can repair the relationships that are at home and strengthen those, that is going to be one of the best ways to help the child get back into school too. So even if you as a parent don't have a school counselor, you know, a pastor, a parent coach, but you need people around you that can help support you in your self-care and helping you learn skills so that you can be the most supportive in your relationship with the people in your home. It's really, really important and it's really, really hard and it requires change. Mhm,
I like that you mentioned focusing on your own self-care because, yeah,
mhm,
it's a horrific thing to live through.
mhm.
So, I like how you give parents permission to do that
Yeah, and freak out some days. That's okay too.
and
That's part of
permission to
it.
freak out. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's all normal.
Thank you. Jess, have you seen school teams shift from asking what's wrong with this student to asking, okay, what in our system might be making this hard? And um, how does North Shore Learning help with this?
Have I seen that? Not as much as I want to see that. I think the conversations are starting to happen more frequently now because school refusal or refusal in the school is happening also. We have kids who are refusing to do work, they're refusing to change classes, they're refusing to go to lunch. Your refusal is looking broad right now. And the first kind of instinct of the teacher is that demand. You're going to do it. You're going to go. But as I think we're learning, just compliance over connection is becoming more and more important in so many ways. But also, when these students aren't responding to the threats, they don't care what you're threatening. They're not going to go, they're not going to do the thing. I see teachers starting to have bigger conversations with themselves, with me as a coach. You know, we work in so many schools. Colleen, you're in schools too. These are conversations that we're having with teachers as well because they're concerned. At the heart of it, they're concerned about their students and they want to do right by their students. But it's such, you know, we've come from teaching being you do things because I tell you to, and that's the way this works, to a student population who is not buying into that anymore, and so there is this disconnect. But I'm seeing that conversation happening more and more. And I have to give a lot of credit to teachers because they have, 20, 30 students in front of them. It takes a lot of headspace to deal with um, school avoidance or task avoidance, but they're starting to lean in more and start to ask those questions. But they're looking for support too. That's why they're asking me, they're asking you, they're asking Troy and Katie, what do we
Mhm,
do? And I think it's just so important to know your resources, which is why I'm really glad we're having this talk.
mhm.
Great. The next question, I'm going to ask you to answer it. When a child doesn't want to go to school, parents often feel fear and guilt or even shame. And you mentioned that earlier. What do you most want parents to understand about themselves in this moment?
Um, is it okay if I answer that one? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Um, all those feelings are valid. I think one thing that I learned through this experience is the dialectic. Two opposite things can be true at once. I can experience shame, guilt, anger, and be supporting my child in going to school. Like it two things can be true at once. And so, as counselors, as teachers, validating the emotions that the parents are bringing to school is really important. Yeah, it's like so, I can, it makes sense that you're so frustrated. You had to miss your meeting and your child isn't going to school. And let's see if we can do a half day, or you know what I mean? So it's that and that you can put in the middle that really helps me as a parent, because I remember the school counselor doing that for me. It was so helpful because you get these calls from the attendance clerk. They're like, why is so and so not in school today? And you have to be like, well, they're at home. And it's like, it's just nagging. And then I just remember the counselor calling me and she's like, Katie, she's like, I'm sure it's really upsetting, or, she validated what I was feeling, and she said, "And your daughter can come to school for, the last part of the day, the first part of the day." And that was so helpful to me. It's like an not all or nothing situation, and that my feelings got validated.
Yeah,
Mhm.
beautiful.
You
Sharoya,
had a good counselor. That's
yeah.
like a great school
Mhm.
counselor.
Yep. Yeah. And administrators, teachers, they can do that too. That's that whole ability to validate someone's I mean, I think coaches do that. Instructional coaches do that. It's yeah.
I talked about counselors earlier, and I want to just say for parents,
Mm.
this is a time for you to really embrace the village around you and your children. It is not a time to just sit there and go, "Oh God, I don't have anybody to help me." We do. We have to like look for the help. And once you go out and you're honest and you're vulnerable and you talk to the teacher, you talk to the counselor, is where you are. Just tell them how you feel, and they will provide support. So just as we're encouraging counselors to think about and consider parents and put on, to kind of put on their perspective and help them solve this issue, parents, we need for you to recognize that there is hope. One, in the book, we take you through exercises for you to find that village and get them to kind of help you solve the mystery of why your child isn't going to school. For instance, one is just to have a family member sit down and ask your kids a few questions that we list in the book. Because our kids often tell other people things that they don't tell us. And so that is using that resource. Also, if you're co-parenting, you know, you have to put in the work with the other parent and parent on the same page for this to really be effective. So there's quite a lot to do. And that's why I say you got to reach out and ask for support, and also understand that there is this resource to help you and deal with that emotion that you're dealing with and the realities. Katie talks about um, wanting to go somewhere and can't go because her daughter's at home, and that's a real, like, just it causes a lot of anxiety. What do you do then? And then also, she also shares about her and her husband not agreeing the way to handle school refusal. He wanted a heavy hand. She wanted to be quite gentle. Who's right, who's wrong? Well, that when you spend time
Yeah.
focusing on that, that takes the energy you need to solve the problem. So, yeah, that's my wish for parents to understand that this is a time where you lean back and you allow others to help you.
Mhm.
Love that advice. Thank you. Okay, Sharoya, what is one small shift in language, routines, or expectations that schools can do tomorrow to make a real impact on attendance or engagement?
I just think everybody said, well, what's keeping that parent from moving forward, like taking the next step? Why are they disengaged? If you find that to be happening, and just list those things down, those reasons, because then if you can say, can we pair those up with resources? Can we pair it up particularly with another human being that has experienced what they are going through to share with them? I think that is a place to really start to get it moving in the right direction. We have to pull people in and let them know that there's community.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's that village mentality of everyone belongs, and belonging means we support each other. Yeah.
Mhm.
How about you, Katie? Anything to add?
I just, um, I just think as a parent, it was so helpful to know I had that counselor, um, in the school that I could reach out to, and I didn't feel judged. I felt like it was just, like, very supportive. Um, I also felt that, it the school shifted from, like, an academic focus to, like, "Okay, let's focus on the social emotional bit. So once we get the social emotional bit up, then we can focus on academics." So there was some accommodations put in to assignments and things like that, which I think also is really helpful to the child as they're supporting themselves to, be in the school environment. So flexibility, I think, too, is really important um, within the school environment. And Shroy and I are both former teachers. We know the demands of the classroom. And that's why we talk so much about providing resources. Give the parent this book. We work with schools to like align whatever the need is with a resource. So it's pairing the need up with a resource so you don't have to handle it all. Yeah, which is important.
Giving everyone tools that they need.
Yep.
Great.
I like
Okay, this
how
last. Go ahead.
I like how you said too, just the idea of pairing parents up with somebody else who's been through it seems like an easy thing, but it's not one you would think of right away. But to it helps you feel, okay, I'm not the only one who's ever dealt with this. Other people have because it feels so lonely, I think, in the moment. So I think that's just a great a great suggestion for schools.
Mhm.
And just I think it's that, not just a suggestion to do that, right? But also kind of putting the words together for the counselors to be successful. Because they'll, often go, well, we've tried to give resources, but they don't look. But it's in the wording. And so we come with the counselors and just go, does that feel okay for you? Do you feel like they will embrace that a bit better? And the counselors go, yeah, thank you. That does,
Mhm.
the interaction will be different with the parent. So both the counselor is happy and feeling like they're going to deliver a message that's not like directive, you have to, but is
Mm.
more encouraging. Like, we're going to support you. But on the flip side, as Katie said, being educators, we do not expect to add more to one's plate. As counselors, we adore counselors and educators and feel like they've done a wonderful job, are doing wonderful. And so when we're working with schools, we help them to understand you have to set healthy boundaries. Just as I teach
Mhm.
parents to set healthy boundaries in the home, I think schools have to do the same. We have said, Mr. So and so, have you agreed to watch this video and get back to us on this? He says yes, and he doesn't. And then he calls and he wants to make a demand on the school to do
Mhm.
this. No, no, no. Mr. So and so, we agreed that you would do this. When you have done that, can you please come back so we can start the next step? It is important that we hold each other accountable and
Mhm.
responsible. That builds trust, that builds, we feel secure within that when we know we understand who's doing what.
Mhm.
Yeah. Clarity and boundaries is helpful for everyone.
Mhm.
Okay, great. This question is for everyone. What is something you're seeing right now that gives you hope when it comes to attendance and school avoidance? Okay, let's start with Katie.
I think, as a parent, it really gave me, sometimes suffering gives you the best opportunity to grow. So I think that not only did I grow in my own skills and ability to handle strong emotions and be consistent, I tended to really avoid things and not stay consistent. And I learned how to stay consistent and set natural consequences. Um, and it also strengthened my relationship with my husband, with my daughter. So there's hope in that through that suffering that you can grow stronger. Yeah. for me. Yeah.
And I'll
Sharoya?
say, as a parent coach, I get to witness that, and
Mhm.
that's a powerful thing to see parents come with such a burden, and just clueless of what to do, and then they start seeing a glimmer of hope, and then all of a sudden it goes down again because that school refusal is hard.
Mhm.
Then it comes back up. And then months later, a year later, you look and the family is so much the better for it. Why? Because it's a time where you can come together and really figure out what works for our family, what doesn't work. What does each person in our family need to get out
Mhm.
the door and successfully? You have to answer those questions in order for you to get to that point. I think the thing that makes me most hopeful is as we go around and talk to counselors all over the globe. Uh,
Mhm.
and when they're like, they go, we don't have to solve it. No. We had a counselor who was going out 7 o'clock in the morning, getting this kid out of his mom's car. And we're
Mhm.
like, no, no, no. So helping them to figure out what to do instead, you
Mhm.
know, and we get email back. We check in, email back. Things are getting better.
Mhm.
And so we're grateful just to be doing this work to give, parents hope and also just to know that a kid is growing through this as well. They're
Mhm.
seeing how to solve problems. And I guess, Katie, you can speak to it, right? Like your daughter has used all the skills that she has gained through this to just soar.
Yeah. My daughter's soaring. She's taking all hard classes, AP. She knows how to advocate for herself. She's in athletics. It's incredible watching her flourish.
And you probably couldn't have imagined that when this was happening earlier.
No, and you can read about it, you know. So yeah, it's really yeah. I feel so blessed. And I
Just
thank God
anything
every day. I really do.
I
Yeah.
bet. Just anything to add?
Yeah, on the school end, and we touched on it earlier, but there's definitely more of an understanding, and it's growing, that students are more than their academic capabilities, that the social emotional aspects of who they are impact how they show up, how they learn, how they interact. And teachers are embracing this. And some, it's slow, but in almost every school I work now, there's some level of SEL work happening, self awareness building. They're trying to help students understand themselves. Um, and that gives me a lot of hope how people are embracing that.
Mm.
Approach the whole child. Great. We have a minute or two for questions. So if anyone who's joined us tonight, thank you for being with us, has a question that they'd like to ask any of our experts here, please feel free to put that in the chat. And we'll
Uh, Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Katie. I'm from an international school, bilingual school in China, and I'm very happy to be here introduced by my colleague Bella because I'm a mother of two. Both of my kids job school right now. So I had a lot of concerns too. I've been through a lot of up and downs 2 years ago because my son's still in the process of dropping school, but it's getting better because I'm getting stronger and I kind of make we as a family kind of encouraging my son and made him feel better. He's not
Mhm.
easy to get angry. It's emotionally he's very very stable, but still
Mm.
he's not going to school. But we plan another path
Right.
for him in the future. But sadly, my daughter, who is really younger, we actually sacrificed a lot to help my son when he had a depression in the first place.
Mm.
Um, so she was very little at that time, probably 5 years old. So
Mhm.
we helped him to make her transition from one kindergarten to another kindergarten, which is huge, I guess. And
Mm.
also, I'm a single mother, so mostly I live with my daughter. Um, so in the family, there's probably only two of us. So I
Mhm.
didn't give a lot of support to my
daughter, I guess, because I spent a lot of time working on my own, develop myself. So I guess I feel guilty sometimes. I didn't put all my efforts with my girl. So she felt like if the brother can drop school, this is my guess. I'm not sure. Can drop school, right? And she, while at the same time getting a lot of attention from all families. And maybe it's okay for her to drop school too. She's kind of modeling at the same time. She's competing with her brother because mostly she grown up with me only. She was kind of a, the heart in my, the apple in my eyes all the time. Now competitor appeared, so that there must be some experience, and also my time is really, limited to be with her. So now she's dropping school. She's not coming back. So this kind of, worried me too. So I was not that, kind of a collapse at that time, but still, I'm just in the process of understanding more of the little kids' emotional, conditions, and also I kind of encourage her. Is that okay? Then we can ask you to visit a counselor or something like that. She said, "No, I'm not interested." She's little, but I think with our, with kind of a mixture, the whole family, the grandpa, grandma, kind of a, ease their kind of bursting feelings. So we kind of calm down ourselves. My girl is feeling okay. And so you can feel her emotions up and down too. Sometimes, some days she's so happy and she would do all the homework at home, actually, asking me to, accompany her with everything. But sometimes she's not doing this. She even quit her actual, curriculum, like dancing, which is one of her favorite. But this is a case. So some days good, some days really bad. So I'm just asking, very, very curious about Katie's journey. So we experience same thing. So I'm just asking you very superficial question because I don't have a lot of, understanding of all the psychological behind it. I didn't actually read a lot of books, probably only one book. So I'm asking you, do you read your girls dropping out? How many, years or
Yeah.
how long did they,
Well,
finally overcome in your situation?
well, I just want to say it's so stressful and it's so hard, and
Mhm,
how you're taking time to like make sure that you are okay so that
mhm,
you can be there emotionally for your daughter is
mhm,
really like what you need to do
mhm. Yeah,
because you are what she's looking at. Like
yeah,
how you handle yourself. That's what
mhm,
she's seeing is how
yeah,
she can handle herself. So when she sees mommy be able
mhm,
to do hard things, and when she sees mommy be able to like take a break when she's really mad instead of yelling at her, then
mhm.
she says, "Oh, I can do that too."
Okay.
And so I just want to, you know, say that it totally makes sense how you wanted to like take time for yourself to be able to make
Mm,
yourself strong and have that self-care. And what you're doing for your daughter is supporting her in the ways that she needs. Um, Sharoya, do you want to add anything on? Because I know Sharoya has really magic.
Well, one, I think, the observation,
Mhm,
be, being an observer
mhm,
bef- before putting a narrative together, take time. And I think I love spending time with kids in their rooms at night. So, just lying next to her and just talking, not asking questions, just talking about the day. In those quiet moments and one-on-one moments, kids begin to open up. And if we just take time to listen and
mhm,
lead moments of pause, um,
mhm,
then their words start to come. So I would just encourage you to do everything that's pleasurable on the way to school. When she gets home from school, you do fun things and just celebrating that she went to school and how that's going to benefit her in the future. You don't have to talk about the day. Kids get sick and tired of talking about how was your day.
mhm,
So just connection before you start really talking about the problem. And and then you'll see. I think one thing what parents need to understand is the kids going to school is stressful, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
And sometimes it can turn into distress. And when that happens and there's not enough cushion at home for them emotionally, that's when they can't get up and go out the door.
Mm-hmm.
So things that they could normally handle, they can no longer handle because home is costing them too much emotional currency and it's
Mhm.
spent, in school. So that's when they get overloaded. So I think creating a space that's just calm and giving her space to just talk and express herself is where you want to start. And again, like I said, in the book, we talk about that, like how to just have those conversations where they don't think you're trying to get an answer out of them, but that you're just having a conversation.
Mm. Thank you so much. I
Mhm.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
I can feel from both of your talk the positivity at least. I can feel that we still have a lot of hope
Yes.
out there. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. We have a few here. Someone says, Natalie says, I have a student who says he hates school all the time. He does very little work at school. His parents don't answer any messages I or the counselor send. Any advice?
So I think for this one, because this is really important, I think oh, am I still here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're here. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
hear you. Yep.
For adults in general, when we hear our kids say they don't want to do something, and just how would you like to do it differently? First of all, right? Next, can we offer this kid to teach the class like 5 minutes the next day? It's that you can teach the class, you just have to come to me and prepared what you're going to say, what you're going to do, just to get them connected. There's a disconnect. And so to the teacher, I'm not asking you to do more. I'm absolutely do less because teach less 5 minutes. Talk to this kid on Monday. Say you need to have a lesson on Friday for 5 minutes, and you need to have it needs to be exactly the way you want to learn. Right. So you're going to teach the kid as if you teach the students as if they were you, and make this lesson exciting for you, and so we can learn from that student. Again, for the parent, at that point, it's just like if the counselor can reach out to them and somehow get them to school. But then if not, then they're just not there at that place. And if all we can do is get that kid to teach 5 minutes in that week, that's progress, and he understands what goes into creating a lesson. He understands how it feels to stand up in front of the class and deliver a lesson. So, and of course, that would have to be through connection. Like during the teacher's break, you would say, "Come see me," in that one-on-one conversation. So, like my grandma says, a stitch in time saves nine. Yes, that is out of the norm, but if you can just pull away and do that for a few minutes with this kid, you might save a lot of time in the long run.
Mhm.
Like I like posing that question back. What would this look like for you that you would be excited about? What would success look like? I think
Mhm.
that's great advice.
Perspective for everyone to think about. Okay, I think there's one more question.
That's
Yeah.
me again.
Oh,
I have tried several times with this kid, and when I talk to him at recess, he talks to me, and he has like his face glows at recess.
mm,
And he loves geography. That's the only thing he does at school. Um, I have asked him what he wants, and he says, I don't want to be in math class.
He knows what he doesn't want.
So that's something to like,
It,
why doesn't he want to be in math class?
yeah,
Mhm.
because it's
Yeah.
not geography,
But
and so
that's the only thing I do. I teach math. Well,
yeah,
No.
other
but
class.
Then he has to
Um,
go and find out math and geography. And even if it's just to show the class a video, a 2-minute video, and explain it, that's sufficient. Even if it's off topic, it just gets him connected to learning and letting him understand he can even teach people once he learns something, and to understand that connection when you don't want to do something, how you can make it interesting by relating it back to something you do enjoy.
Mhm. Okay. I haven't tried that. I
Okay.
can.
Yeah, please, and then send me an email. How did he rock that lesson on math and geography?
He'll
I
be doing some
will.
good thinking.
I'm gonna put my email in the chat.
Okay, good, because that's one of my questions is how can people get in touch with you? Learn more about what you do with both your organizations and then also how they can get their hands on your
Yeah, definitely, to purchase our book, you can go to Amazon and help My Kid Won't Go to School. You can go to, Embrace Behavioral Change, which is Sharoya's website. We'll put that in the chat. We have a book, um, tab on the website. Um, and Sharoya, do you want
No,
yeah,
I think you nailed it.
okay.
So I think school refusal success at gmail.com is where we receive our emails.
No,
So,
Sharoya, can you put your website in too? 'Cause I think
uh,
yeah.
okay, so that's embracebehaviorchange.com.
nicebehaviorchange.com.
Mhm.
Great.
Okay, I hope that's right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then their books on Amazon.
Yep,
So wonderful.
great.
Thank you.
And
Thank you. Go ahead.
oh, we also work with counseling. We've gone to a lot of conferences, regional conferences, international conferences, and we're also able to come and do international schools. So virtual learning support, I mean, virtual professional development around school refusal. So,
Lots of ways you can
mhm.
support schools, teachers, counselors, parents.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Jess, we want to
Okay.
say thank you for having us.
Yes.
We're so happy to have you. So, okay, that's a wrap on our
I know.
conversation.
Thank you, ladies. I've enjoyed it so much.
Yeah,
Great.
it's been great.
It's so good to hear the resources. So much of what we do is just matching people to resources.
Hmm.
So hopefully, yeah, people know that you're out there and will help spread the word.
Thank
Definitely.
you.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So, as we close out, if you're watching live or catching the replay, we hope you'll join us for the next episode of North Shore Learning Series. Keep an eye on your inbox or follow us on LinkedIn to get updates. Thank you so much for showing up to be part of these conversations. We believe better support for educators means a better future for our students. See you next time. Thank you so much. Again,
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Nice to meet you. All right.